Another build video. Today we're going over nuclear fallout flak. Now this nuclear fallout, you're guessing probably gamma burst, but it's actually a fadeaway build. Now the reason why I call this nuclear fallout is because most, not all of our weapons, but most of our weapons are going to have the while under 50% health, deal 150% bonus radiation damage anoint. And since that's about 1.5 times our damage as bonus rad damage, I felt like using the nuclear winter, nuclear fallout kind of name would be fitting. So, no, it's not a Gamma Burst build, unfortunately, but it is a fadeaway build, and I personally don't like fadeaway all that much, but with how aggressive you can play this build, it feels like you're spamming Gamma Bursts, you're basically spamming fake bursting, which is really great because back in Mayhem 4, you could do some pretty nice fake bursting, fake Gamma Burst stuff. So yeah, now you may notice as I've went over the skill tree, it's kind of weird. It's not your usual fadeaway build for Flak. Now that's all because of this anoint. We need to get below 50% health. So the Fast and the Furious and Power Inside won't give us that much of a bonus, since the Fast and the Furious is only active while above half health, and we already cut that half health. So you get no bonus from this, and that this 25% damage would be good when we activate our action skill, but you won't get 50%. You'll get only 25% because you're not at full health. So we cut basically the green tree by half and moved it over to the blue tree, because this 25% that we lost, or yeah, the 25% that we lost is caught up by this 56% that we can get at max stacks with frenzy, and this 12% that we can get with persistence hunter. Uh, Now I would say this build is good. There's a lot of damage going for it, and survivability wise, it's pretty good. But don't be afraid of going down. You will go down with this build, but if you play your cards right, you will never fully die. You won't bleed out. That's what I'm trying to say. Because of the amount of damage that you can do will kill enemies in a blink of an eye. It's insane. Now let's go over our gear first. So for the first weapon that I like to use is the OPQ system with the anoint I've talked about. This weapon will sometimes cause explosions that do massive amount of damage, and in general this gun is very good on Mayhem 10 right now. Now keep in mind this build might be subject to change because of the new scaling, the new Mayhem 10 and weapon scaling in Phase 1 alongside with the Guardian takedown on June 4th, which is next week. So this might be outdated very soon, but you may never know. They might just scale down the weapons to be good still, but not the only good weapons. So yeah, OPQ system for my first weapon. This is mostly for single targets or enemies that are left over when we use mobbing weapons. But you can actually use it for mobbing as well because of the splash damage it does, which is pretty great. Now my next weapon, we have the Reflux. Now I have a redundant variant and a cash infused variant. Now I believe the cash infused variant has shock built into it as well as corrosive, so that's more elements. But the redundant Reflux has many more chances. It has twice the chances of proccing the chains that it does, and that's where its damage comes from. And basically with the 150% rad, anoint, this is absolutely insane. This will clear out mobs, like a group of mobs, in about a second. A blink of an eye, they die. And you can even use it for non-groups. Like, you can use it on single targets as well. It's that powerful. But I wouldn't recommend it, because you'd lose a lot of shotgun ammo real quick. Next up, we're using Monarchs. Now, I've got one with the corrosive one with 150% of rad, and a incendiary one with consecutive hits. Now, you can use either one anoint. I just prefer using the 150% rad anoint than the consecutive hits, because consecutive hits, you have to build up the damage to 200%. This one is straight 150% elemental damage, which is multiplicative compared to weapon damage, which is additive. And what that means is basically the 150 rad will be more damage. And basically consecutive is, you want consecutive hits for, the only reason like I have consecutive hits is either because I don't have 150 rad, or because the guns perform better with that, which the Monarch actually does. You can use either one of the order. They're perfect for any kind of thing you want to do, like mobbing, bossing, whatever. Both are good. So basically, the Monarch, you go into bipod mode. Don't know why I was trying to say binary mode, but you go into bipod mode, twice the damage, twice the pellets. So yeah, basically it's just really good. It dishes out a lot of damage quickly. You can melt Wotan's top half with this. It is absolutely insane. Now, what I would also recommend for a third/fourth slot would be the recursion. This gun is insane. It just will destroy anything on your last fadeaway shot. The yellow cake, very nice gun. Now, I actually don't like it with this build. It's weird, because the yellow cake is the yellow cake. It does so much damage, but it's not fun. That's the point of this build. This build is supposed to be fun, aggressive. You're supposed to play aggressive and have fun playing aggressively with flak. Flak is squishy as hell. So yeah, basically the yellow cake, you'll take too much damage while trying to get your shot off. It's not that good. Now the back burner has kind of the same problem. You have to kind of aim your shot below enemies to get the pellets to hit, kind of like the Pimpernel in Borderlands 2, if y'all ever played that game. But this is a rocket launcher, and the spread is actually kind of more tricky to get than the Pimpernel from BL2. I had only used these backburners for bossing. Now I only have shock with the anoint. You could use the 300% anoint, which I have in all three main elements. But I wouldn't recommend it. I think the 150 rad anoint is good in general for the takedown. Now we can use plague bearers too. I don't generally use the plague and the unseen threat with this build, but it's still here if you want to use them. They're still absolutely amazing. Now the Sandhawk. This is your boss melter. If you want to completely go overkill, you can go with a consecutive hit Sandhawk in the takedown. This or the 150 rad, both of them, they absolutely destroy. I just ran the takedown a few hours ago with this one, true takedown, and the health bars or armor bars just disappear. It's insane. This gun is absolutely insane. Like, there's no way to put it. Now, as you may see, I have a Lyuda in this build. Now, the Lyuda is not great at the moment. We'll be honest, it's not great at the moment, but I highly hope it will get buffed in the next patch, the June 4th patch. Because I love the Lyuda. It's one of my favorite weapons. I used to use it on Mayhem 3 back in the day with the elemental projector, and that was the good old days. So yeah, it's still there. If it gets buffed, I'll use it. I'll probably do some boss kills with it, and might show it on YouTube. We never know. Now we also have a bunch of Itspis. They are level 1 because they were farmed at level 1, or well, farmed with a level 1 player, and basically the level doesn't matter. The reason why it's level 1, it's to not, because you'll deal damage to yourself when using the Itspis. As you can see, you'll deal a little bit of damage to yourself. It's to not down you when you're using it. Because you're gonna throw this in your face and as well as the enemy's face, to give them a bonus 20% increased damage from you to them, and you'll actually get status effects off of you. So imagine I have a shock status effect, and you see we're using the frontal loader. The frontal loader, it's not that good of a shield. The only good thing about the shield is the fact that you can get below 50% health easily. If you have a shock dot on yourself, you're pretty much dead. So what you do, Itspis, and that's it. You get back to full HP. Well, you don't get back to full HP, but no shock dot anymore. So that's why we use the Itspis bonus damage, and you can extinguish side effects. Now, like I said, front loader is basically to get below 50% health. You want ASCs on both shield and grenade. Try to match them, the elements to the enemy's weakness. For our class mod, we're using the Bounty Hunter. Now, this is a god roll Bounty Hunter, but you do not need a god roll. You do not. I repeat, you do not. This build is this insane. Now, the reason why I'm using a god roll is to get the maximum amount of damage I can, and I would use a normal one, but I don't have a really bad one at the moment. Trash them all. So sorry if people don't like god rolls, but I'm going with it. Now, the preferred stats on the Bounty Hunter, you'd want 3 into the most dangerous game and 2 into frenzy, because this will give you the most damage in general. And your rolls trying to go for weapon damage, some weapon specific damage like AR damage especially, crit, and action skill cooldown. That's basically it. For our artifact, we're using the Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge. Now this is a easy way to stack about 100% damage, just like that, because the stacks are just so quick that it's basically 90% damage, just like this, given to you. So that's it for our gear. Now let's go over the skill tree. We'll go over the red tree first. This is a pretty straightforward red tree. We've got 3 out of 3 on Leave No Trace for ammo, sustain. We've got 5 out of 5 on Interplanetary Stalker for more damage and for specific bonuses depending on the enemy you kill. Hunter's Eye, we've maxed out Hunter's Eye for more crit damage, armor damage, and damage reduction against specific enemies. Head count, this is to get your fadeaway back. Now, head count is still bugged with fadeaway somewhat. It is bugged with rack attack. You should not use rack attack with head count. You should use Eager to Impress still. I haven't heard any news about it being fixed with rack attack, but for this build we're using fadeaway, so we're going head count for action skill cooldown, which is probably one of the best action skill cooldown in the game. Flak, it's just insane. You'll see with the reflux what I'm talking about. It's just insane. Now we are maxing out big game for more hunter skill duration and effect. The Cosmic Stalker boosts can boost this up to 2 times, 200% and 60% basically. but it won't actually make up for the damage that the Bounty Hunter gives with the Most Dangerous Game and Frenzy. Now we're going to max out the Most Dangerous Game for bonus damage, bonus crit damage, bonus handling, bonus pet damage, which is kind of useless, for about 2 minutes with when we kill a badass enemy. Now with the Bounty Hunter, I believe, the Bounty Hunter makes it so bosses are treated as badasses slash beasts and types of enemies, so we get this for bosses if we hit them, because there's a 3% chance to do kill skills and yada 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 yada. You get the point. Bounty Hunter with this skill is just broken. We're melting Tron today. Just I was having fun melting Tron with whatever weapon I wanted. It's pretty nice. Now we're going to max out Galactic Shadow. It's just a 50% crit damage with more survivability because enemies won't attack you as much. So it's a free pick. It's 15% free critical hit damage. Take it. Now we're going to max out the Capstone Megavore because this is basically Flak's best skill, or Flak's best capstone by far. You have a 20% chance to hit a critical hit on any part of the body, and Flak is all about critical hits, and with the modifiers we're using, it's just going to do a ton of damage. That's all you need to know. Now for the rest of skill tree, I've kind of already went over it, but the reason we're not going to use full green or full blue is because full green we're not going to get the bonuses out of Fast and Furious and Power Inside, so they're useless, and we're going to get more damage out of Frenzy. So we're going out of 5 out of 5 on Furious Attack for a total of, I think, 20% more damage at max stacks. We're going 5 out of 5 on Overclocked for some bonus fire rate. We're going 1 out of 1 on all my BFFs, so our pet doesn't die, because the pet is still very squishy. His health didn't get scaled all that much, and it's man 10. It is no joke. Now we're going Link the Wounds because since our pet doesn't die all that much, he can revive us when we're down, which is extremely good. It's one of Flak's best skills. Flax has a lot of best skills. I'm realizing that. But if you ever go down and you can't kill something, Link the Wounds will be there to help you out. Now we're maxing out Turntail and Run. When you move, you'll get health regen and damage reduction, and when you stand still, you get gun damage and fire rate. We're going to use Fade Away with None My Circus and Until You Are Dead. Now, None My Circus, your pet would taunt when you get into Fade Away, which will de-aggro enemies. And Until You Are Dead gives you health regen and movement speed a little while after Fade Away ends. So that's great. We don't get Unblinking Eye, unfortunately, because we're not that far in the skill tree. But it's fine. It's fine. We're maxing out Persistence Hunter to get more gun damage and action skill duration. 2 points into Ferocity. You can put him whatever you want. Go for the eyes, Ferocity, doesn't matter. It's just to move down the skill tree. We're only putting 1 point into Who Rescued Who and 1 point into He Bites. Now, Who Rescued Who will give you a little bit of health regen, but it's more for the lifesteal that your pet will have off of your damage. We're doing Mayhem 10 damage. Your pet will never die if you shoot. That's all you need to know. And the 1 point into He Bites is that your pet will reflect damage, and that'll proc Frenzy. Frenzy, more damage. That's basically it. And we're using the Greenhorn Skag because 50% damage instead of 10% elemental damage. Now, you can rock Spyran Scorcher if you'd like. We don't need the health regen, so that's why I went with the Great Horn Skag. Now, for my Guardian Rings, I will have Guardian Rings on for the build showcase. I don't usually do this for build showcases, but I play with my Guardian Ring on pretty much all the time now, so it's only fair that I still show it. And for my modifiers, we have Loot Explosion, Helian Avenger, Laser Fair, and Holy Crit. Holy Crit will reduce our non-critical head damage by 50%, but that is perfectly fine because we're using Fadeaway and Mega Board. So let's just run through the cartel. Probably do Joey Ultraviolet as well. Now, your playstyle is being very aggressive. I like to play aggressively, generally, with my builds. So basically, melt this guy. And as you can see, the damage is there. Like, this is Mayhem 10, and things are smelled. Now, if I can hit my shots, that'd be perfect. Stand still. Can absolutely melt people. And little skag. Enemies don't come close enough. If you stand still, you're getting that 25% more damage, which is perfect. You can see these just die. And it's honestly just insane. Like, I have had troubles making Flak viable for Mayhem 10, and this is by far the best way I've found to make Flak Mayhem 10 viable. There are other ways though. Some people do say there are other ways to make Mayhem 10 Flak builds. I just feel like this is my favorite one. Legendary, I don't care. This is my first time going through Villa Ultraviolet with Flak, so yeah, you will talk a little bit. That should be fine. As you can see, everything just dies. Shot. And generally the bridge from the Malawan takedown is a hard part for Flak. It's not with this build, it's really not. Like, I'm honestly impressed on how well this does with the bridge. Let's take out these lasers. Now you can actually run a Snowdrift still if you prefer the Snowdrift over the Pearl, but you'll lose a little bit of damage. You can see it turns down. And it went back up immediately. Now who is Roaster? Okay. Gonna do this. Okay, never mind. I don't know why I was trying to pull out a Fire Monarch on Roaster. I believe he's immune to fire damage, interior damage. Over here, spawn these boys. Suckers. They won't resist. They won't survive. Like, this build is insane. Like, I'm having so much fun with this build. Dot damage is actually pretty good as well. You can just leave some enemies with a little dot. They will just die. You drop 2 legendaries, you drop a Blood Lair and a Nemesis. Okay, we don't care. Let's go over here. Forgot how to navigate this place. Let's find some enemies. You over there, die. Over here, die. You can shoot the laser flares if there are enemies and you've got a laser flare on the ground. You can shoot it to chain onto other enemies, but if you shoot enemies, it won't chain on the lasers. So be wary of that. also, Fish Lab is one of my most hated enemies in the game, and we can absolutely melt him. Let's go back. Let's go. This build is just insane. If you can see it by your, like, as you can see by your own eyes. The thing, if I were a little bit better at aiming at people, maybe it'll make you see how good this build is. Guy dead. And survivability, as you can see, survivability is not really an issue. It's just the fact that you can go down. You don't have to worry about it. Just find your nearest enemies, kill them, easy peasy. Everything's good. And as you can see, single target, reflexing dude. Jericho, bro. Wait, did she go behind?
Better up your game, pal.
She went behind. Okay. That means we can kill her? I believe we can actually go and fight her elsewhere. If I recall. I've never had that happen to me, but that's pretty much because we're using a shotgun and shotguns have a chance to knock back. Are you over here? Somewhere. It's in the wall here. Okay, now we bugged the room. I don't think we'll be able to do this if we bug the room. Let me go into photo mode. I'll just see. I don't know how she went through. I guess that'll be it, guys. I can't proceed through. I would like to actually do it, but it's bugged. So if you enjoyed the build video, guys, be sure to leave a like. Dislike if you didn't like it. I don't really mind. After all, this is all my opinion, and this is just how I play FL4K. If you don't like it, it's fine. You don't have to do it. You don't have to play the FL4K this way. Thanks everyone for watching. Have a nice one.